Recently, the internet has been buzzing with bold claims that the upcoming Samsung Galaxy S27 Ultra is about to get a dramatic redesign. The hottest rumor, that Samsung will ditch its iconic individual camera ring layout and switch to a horizontal camera island similar to what we've seen on Google Pixel phones, the old Galaxy S10, and even Apple's iPhone Air style bars. It sounds like a huge visual shift, and for a lot of users, it raised one big question. Is Samsung really about to throw away the signature Galaxy Ultra look? A new report from a credible source suggests the answer is a lot more nuanced, and if you were expecting a radical new camera strip on the back of the Galaxy S27 Ultra, you might want to dial back those expectations. Galaxy S27 Ultra camera redesign rumors. What's really going on? Those viral renders and tweets claiming that the Galaxy S27 Ultra is getting a full-width horizontal camera bar. According to a trusted tipster, they're flat out wrong. The report, translated from its original source, states that Samsung is not planning to adopt a horizontal camera island on the Galaxy S27 Ultra. The dramatic pixel-style camera bar that's been making the rounds online does not match Samsung's current internal designs. While Samsung is exploring tweaks to the back design, these are described as revisions, not a total camera layout overhaul. In other words, the core design language that has defined the Galaxy Ultra series, those separate floating camera rings, isn't about to be casually tossed aside because of a memeable leak. Why Samsung is unlikely to abandon its iconic Galaxy Ultra look from a branding perspective, the current Galaxy Ultra camera layout is a major asset. It's instantly recognizable from across the room. It differentiates Samsung flagships from Google Pixel's camera bar and Apple's blocky iPhone camera bump. It has become a visual shorthand for "this is the premium Galaxy." Completely replacing that with a horizontal camera bar would be a massive gamble. It would blur the visual identity gap between Samsung, Apple, and Google, risk alienating existing Galaxy Ultra fans who love the clean, minimalist ring-based design, offer little real-world functional gain since performance depends more on sensors, lenses, image processing, and software, not just the arrangement of the cameras. That's why many industry watchers, even before this latest report, were skeptical that Samsung would actually go through with a horizontal island design on the Galaxy S27 Ultra. So what will the Galaxy S27 Ultra probably look like? Based on this new report, the Galaxy S27 Ultra is expected to look very similar to the current Galaxy S26 Ultra, at least at a glance. The overall shape, camera ring layout, and premium aesthetic are likely to stay intact. Samsung is reportedly focusing on small external refinements instead of a full design reboot. The changes being explored are mostly about cost, efficiency, and internal optimization, not headline-grabbing visual shocks. In simple terms, expect an evolution, not a revolution. You'll probably be able to put the S26 Ultra and S27 Ultra side by side and immediately recognize they're from the same design family. Why cost-cutting matters for the Galaxy S27 Ultra. While the outside may look familiar, there's a big pressure point behind the scenes: rising costs across the tech industry. Samsung, like other manufacturers, is dealing with component shortage, higher memory prices, increased manufacturing and logistics costs to keep the Galaxy S27 Ultra competitive in price while still delivering a ultra-grade experience. Samsung is reportedly exploring cost-cutting measures. That doesn't just mean cheaper parts, it can also mean simplifying the internal design to reduce complexity, tweaking component choices to balance performance and price, making subtle structural changes that are invisible to most users but impactful. On the bill of materials, this is where one of the more worrying rumors enters the picture. Could the Galaxy S27 Ultra actually lose a camera? One of the more controversial possibilities raised in the report is that Samsung might remove one camera lens from the Galaxy S27 Ultra as part of its cost-cutting strategy. The scenario, described as a worst case, looks like this. The Galaxy S27 Ultra keeps a design very close to the Galaxy S26 Ultra on the back. However, one of the rear cameras disappears, with Samsung deciding it's a lens that most users can live without. If this happens, it could mean the loss of a dedicated telephoto, ultrawide, or secondary zoom camera, a bigger reliance on software-based zoom, or cropping from a high-resolution main sensor to fill the gap. A more simplified camera stack that's cheaper to manufacture, but slightly less versatile for power users. From a photography enthusiast's perspective, this would feel like a step backward, especially on a device marketed as Ultra. On the other hand, if Samsung pairs this with better computational photography, more powerful main sensor, improved image processing, then mainstream users might barely notice in everyday shooting. Still, sacrificing a lens on the Ultra line would send a message many fans won't like. Will the Galaxy S27 Ultra still be worth buying, even in this conservative, cost-conscious scenario? The Galaxy S27 Ultra is still shaping up to be one of the top flagship smartphones of 2027. Based on what the report suggests, and on Samsung's usual yearly upgrade pattern, you can reasonably expect at least minor performance gains over the S26 Ultra, thanks to a newer chipset and improved efficiency. The likely return of a 5000 mAh battery or something close to it, given that this has become the standard for Ultra-level endurance. Ongoing refinements to One UI and Samsung's long-term software and security update promise a focus on stability, reliability, and a polished day-to-day user experience. One particularly interesting angle, the S27 Ultra might also be used to fix some of the lingering issues from the S26 Ultra, such as specific display quirks or panel inconsistencies that early adopters have complained about. Samsung has a track record of quietly solving these kinds of problems in the next generation without necessarily making them headline features. So yes, even if the upgrades are incremental rather than dramatic, the Galaxy S27 Ultra should still be a safe high-end choice for anyone wanting a dependable flagship with a long support window. Why the Galaxy S26 Ultra might become the smart buy when the S27 drops here. Where the S27 Ultra's conservative approach might actually backfire for Samsung's new flagship, not its old one. If the Galaxy S27 Ultra launches with a very similar design to the S26 Ultra, comparable battery capacity, modest performance improvements, and possibly even one fewer camera lens than the Galaxy S26 Ultra, is going to look extremely attractive the moment prices start to fall. Once the S27 lineup is out, you can expect price cuts, trade-in bonuses, and aggressive deals on the S26 Ultra situation, where the older phone offers 90 to 95% of the real-world experience of the new 1A real value argument for choosing the discounted S26 Ultra instead of paying a premium for the S27 Ultra's small gains for many users, especially those who care about getting maximum value per dollar. Buying the Galaxy S26 Ultra on sale in the S27 era could easily be the smarter move. Why the horizontal camera rumors never made much sense from the start. The leaked horizontal layouts raised eyebrows for some solid reasons. A sudden switch to a pixel-style bar would break with years of consistent Samsung design language for the Ultra series. It would make the back of the phone less uniquely Samsung and more generic in the broader flagship landscape. The renders circulating online didn't convincingly match Samsung's usual industrial design cues. With this new report, that initial skepticism has essentially been confirmed. Samsung is not about to replace one of its most distinctive visual signatures with a design that many fans don't even find particularly attractive. Should Samsung cut a camera or cut somewhere else, the idea of dropping a camera lens to save costs doesn't sit well with many Galaxy Ultra enthusiasts, and for good reason. The Ultra line is supposed to represent the best camera experience Samsung can offer, the most flexible shooting options, multiple zoom levels, ultra-wide, advanced night mode, and high-ray sensors. A product that justifies its high price tag with no compromise hardware. From that perspective, it would make more sense for Samsung to trim costs in less visible areas, streamline manufacturing and logistics, or even slightly raise the price rather than cut into the core flagship camera experience. Removing a lens risks sending the wrong message that the Ultra name is becoming more about branding than true top-tier hardware. Final take on the Galaxy S27 Ultra rumors. Putting it all together, here's what the latest credible information suggests about the Galaxy S27 Ultra. No horizontal camera island. Those viral mock-ups and leaks are not aligned with what reliable insiders are hearing. Design continuity over reinvention. Expect a look very close to the Galaxy S26 Ultra, with small refinements rather than a radical overhaul. Cost pressures are real. Samsung is actively exploring ways to reduce manufacturing costs due to industry-wide component and memory price issues. Camera downgrade is a possibility, not a certainty. Losing one lens is described as a worst-case scenario, not a locked-in decision. The S27 Ultra should deliver a stable, powerful, feature-packed experience. S26 Ultra will be a huge value play once the S27 line launches. A discounted S26 Ultra could become one of the smartest flagship purchases available.